Last Friday, Tesla began official deliveries of the Model 3, its latest and greatest electric car. But rather than being a high-end, high-performance plug-in with a price tag north of $70,000, the Model 3 starts at just $35,000, making it a far more affordable car for a far higher number of would-be electric car drivers out there. But with the Tesla Model 3 offering a range of just 220 miles per charge if you opt for the standard battery pack, the longer-range battery pack adds an additional $9,000 to the price tag, and many of the features that have made Tesla famous, such as the Supercharger access and Autopilot capability costing extra, it's got me to thinking, should you get a Chevy Bolt EV instead of a Tesla Model 3? Well, the answer, I think, depends on what you're looking for in a car and how long you're willing to wait for one. Now, before I go any further with this video, I'm going to acknowledge a few things. First, the Tesla Model 3, while launched, is still not available. Even if you have a reservation, you can't go and get one tomorrow. If you don't have a reservation, well, good luck, because you're in for a wait until at least the end of next year. The Chevy Bolt EV, meanwhile, is available now. Second, the Bolt EV isn't available everywhere, so you may end up being in a market where it's not an option. But with the next generation Nissan Leaf a month away from its reveal and all of the signs pointing to a similar spec between it and the Bolt EV and Model 3, I think we could substitute what we know of the Nissan Leaf in here and make the same arguments as I'm going to make for the Bolt EV. Third, this isn't a video hating on the Model 3. Rather, Tesla isn't the only automaker out there that produces electric cars, and to keep an even playing field, we need to try and be objective about the merits and flaws of each company. And while I've driven the Bolt EV, I haven't yet driven the Model 3. Surprise, surprise. And that means that this isn't a comprehensive comparison. Nor is it meant to be. But if you're in a market for a new EV, I hope you'll look at this as a reminder that there are more options out there than just Model 3, and you owe yourself to try them all. Now, finally, the Bolt EV isn't a competitor for Model 3. They are in different market segments. One is designed to be more family-friendly and mainstream. The other is designed to be a BMW 3 Series beta. But given the marketplace for long-range EVs is kind of small, I am comparing them here. With that done, let's talk price. At $35,000 before incentives, the Model 3 does win when it comes to base price, although I should note that the Bolt EV is currently being discounted by GM in the US to a price point below that of the Model 3. And that makes things quite interesting because the Bolt EV will soon have a nationwide US availability, meaning you could get a Bolt EV sooner than a Model 3, 15 months or more earlier, and have a longer range per charge to boot. Of course, the Bolt EV doesn't have rapid charging as standard, that's another $750 extra, and it doesn't have access to Tesla's Supercharger network. But while we're all fixated on rapid charging these days, the overwhelming majority of electric car owners don't actually make use of DC quick charging stations more than once or twice a month. Even Motor Trend, which currently has a Chevrolet Bolt EV on its staff car fleet, is averaging around 93 miles of use between charging, leaving more than half of the battery available when the car is being charged. In short, while we might fixate on DC quick charging away from home, the reality is that most of us won't need to make use of it unless we're making a weekend road trip to see friends a few hours away or we're going on vacation. And yes, in that situation, Model 3 will win, even if you have to pay for the supercharging. But with more CCS DC quick charging coming online every week, there are parts of the world where CCS-enabled quick charging is just fine for the occasional road trip. Like I said, it depends on where you live and what your lifestyle is as to which car will work better. Interior space? Well, Model 3 loses out to the Bolt EV for load carrying capability by nearly 2 cubic feet. Plus, the Bolt EV is a hatchback, so you can generally use it to carry more things more practically than you could in a sedan. Passenger room is comparable between both cars, with the Model 3 offering a little less legroom than Bolt EV for second row, but more room up front. Bolt EV, thanks to its design, has a little more headroom, but honestly both cars are pretty evenly matched here. The downsides? Well, the Bolt EV seats are kind of thin and not all that comfortable, which is something that the Model 3 does reportedly win on. But where the Bolt EV wins again is the centre console, if you prefer conventional car design. You see, while the Bolt EV doesn't have built-in navigation, it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, meaning it could be a more sensible option for folks who aren't so technically savvy but know how to operate their cell phone. And if you're on the lookout for a family car, the Bolt EV seems to make more sense to me right now, even though it's slightly more expensive on paper than the Model 3. But with the Model 3 wait lists more than a year long right now, your choice, if you're not on the waiting list, is between a car that's available now and a car that you won't see for more than a year. That said, if you want the autonomous driving capabilities and don't mind spending more, although it would still be a high-end Model 3 compared to a high-end Bolt EV at a similar price, you may want to wait for Model 3. All in all, the Bolt EV is going to be more practical in everyday use than Model 3 if you're going to drive it yourself, and should have shorter service times than Model 3 because GM runs its parts and spares service quite differently to Tesla. Admittedly, the dealer experience may not be as nice with Chevy as it will be with Tesla, but in order to wait 15 months for a Model 3, I think it needs to offer a lot more than it appears to currently be. Sure, the Model 3 will be trendier, but I think the Bolt EV is an Android to Tesla's iPhone, so you should ask yourself how long you're willing to continue driving your current EV, or worse still, an internal combustion engine car, just to be part of the Tesla family. That's it. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, hit that notification bar and click on the Patreon link at the end of this video if you want to help me make more of these videos. Until next time, keep evolving.